So I want to go ahead and get started. So thank you all. It is the first day of school. Thank you to our media partners for joining us for this midday press briefing. We are going to open up, I did not tell her this, but I'm going to actually open up with Principal Garcia. If you can bring greetings first, and then we will turn it over to Dr. Hill for opening remarks, and then we'll open up for questions. All right?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for coming today. Today, I told my staff, today is a day that we are making history as we are opening PACE Global Academy here at Albert Edwin Waddell High School. So thank you for being part of this special day. As you know, we have a special program in which is personalized academic command of English, and our full intention is to receive newcomers from all over the world, and we are going to specialize in teaching them in small group instruction with the best strategies how to speak perfect English and just acquire the language quickly. So you will see that our numbers are about 15 to 1 teacher because it's very personalized. But thank you for this special day because it is making history as the first program of newcomers in Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools. Welcome to all of our board members, board chair, and welcome to board member Elise Deshoon. Hi, Elise. Stephanie Sneed, thank you for coming. Of course, Lenora Ship, I was just talking to her. There's Ms. Ship. And welcome to our superintendent, Dr. Krista Hill, and all of her cabinet members. Thank you all for being here today.
Can I ask you a really quick question since you're up there and you're the principal?
Sure.
I just can't let you go without you talking about the long term for PACE, and excuse me, not PACE, but EE Waddell. The fact that it's not just going to be PACE here. You have much more coming down the road. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, and my superintendent will be able to speak to that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. She is. Thank you. Do you want me to go ahead and answer that now, or do you want me to give, where's Shayla? Do opening remarks. Okay, all right, and then we'll re-ask that question. So good afternoon, morning, mid-morning to everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Today is the day that we've all been waiting for, the first day of school. We started first thing this morning out at our bus lot, and it's just been a great day visiting all the schools. Seeing students excited to be here, staff members, it's just been a great day. As expected, traffic has been one of the things that we've had to keep an eye on with thousands of drivers on the road today and hundreds of buses, but it has been a wonderful opening. The schools look absolutely beautiful, and we're just so grateful for all the hard work to get us here today. All right, so first question. Where did Jonathan go? He's right here.
Oh, okay, so ask your question.
So just if you could elaborate, Dr. Hill, if you could elaborate on the long term for EE Waddell. I hate to keep calling it EE Waddell.
You can call it that.
Officially renamed it, but the PACE Academy obviously is not going to be the only thing here.
Sure. So in our district, we are looking at a variety of things happening, and so the future of EE Waddell is one small piece of the larger picture. As you know, our board has talked a lot about the comprehensive review. When we were waiting till the new team came on, Dr. Balknight will be overseeing that. So it will be a part of what we do next. Our next big step is for our bond, and so when our bond is passed, then we will roll EE Waddell, the future of EE Waddell. So we're not doing one-offs. We don't want the community to feel like we're doing one-offs, rather looking at a big plan.
Next question, Shamaria, followed by Ann Doshouse.
I did ask you this question earlier, but I would be remiss not to ask it again. When we're in one of your media centers, it will be closed for a limited amount of time. Do you mind reiterating why you all have done this? What do you plan to do on why? And when is the earliest that students can be expected to check out some of these books?
Sure, thank you. So we made the decision not necessarily to close our media centers, but not to begin the process of checkout for students. And we did that for a couple of reasons. The first reason is with the Parent Bill of Rights, it requires us to make available to parents the list of books that students are checking out. And so we already have a system in place, but it's not systematic across the district. So we definitely wanted to provide the opportunity for time. So we have our systems down pat. We're providing the way for parents to let us know that they want those reports, and then how we will get them out to them in a timely manner. So that's already in place, but we just needed to make sure we were consistent in our practice across all 184 schools. The other reason is because the policy that had to do with Media Center has now been combined with all instructional materials. We just needed to line up, again, processes of how we would handle any objections, anything like that. And then, of course, with the new Senate bill, it has some language around K-4 and instructional materials. So again, just wanting to make sure that we were good to go and great communication with our families. We expect that September 11th, we'll be able to open up for open circulation. That's the latest date. Hopefully, we'll be able to do something sooner than that.
Okay, I'm going to drop the B word, buses. That's always the big thing. What do you know about how many were on time, about what went well, what did not go well? I was seeing posts late last week, over the weekend, about people saying they either didn't get their information until very late, or they got it and then they went on Here Comes the Bus app and it was empty. So there was some concern about that.
Okay, I'll let Brian, oh, there he is, right in front of me. Mr. Schultz, come up and answer that question.
Thanks for that question. So what we know overall, generally speaking, buses have run very well today. What we do not know is on-time arrival percentage or anything like that. When I called Mr. Johnson about 10 minutes ago, he was with his team debriefing on the morning. But overall, there are some few first day glitches that we typically experience. But I was out at Express Stop this morning, as were many members of the team, and those seemed to go really, really well, and the buses were on time. We did have a few traffic delays, which is fairly typical for the first day of school. A lot of parents and families drop their students off in the first day or two. So we've seen some long lines and delays at some of our schools, and we anticipate that will subside over the next week.
Was there a problem with the Here Comes the Bus app, or was that, again, just somebody trying to get on and not getting what they wanted?
I was told there were some glitches with the app itself this morning, but I don't know if that's been pinpointed as to what the problem was with that.
I know last week, it's only been 2.5 full days, or since we did the press conference last week. Any update on bus drivers or cafeteria workers? Has that number decreased? I mean, I know it's only been a few days.
It's the same as last week. No significant change yet.
And Dr. Hill, the teacher's the same, pretty much about the same as it was last week. Is that right? I mean, because I know you guys are trying to get more and more in there as well.
Yes, so we actually have an updated number. Dr. Khan is here. She sent that to me. And so our updated number is 452.5 right now, so down a little bit from last week. She's also shared with me what our vacancies look like across any hot spots, and we've been monitoring hot spots all summer long. What I will say is that, it seems like a really big number, but if you average that out across 184 schools, the vacancies are not as you would think. And so I've made contact with Dr. Khan and the learning community superintendents for some of our hot spots, just to check in today to see how things are going. All principals have a plan. They're good to go.
Brent got my question. So I'm good.
Back to buses. There's a thread that's going on online on parents saying that their bus didn't come. This isn't express bus stops. Just they're like, oh, I had to take my child to school, and it's about multiple of them. Obviously, we can't confirm those, but if someone did miss a bus today, or the student didn't sign up for a bus, what are they supposed to be doing? And have you heard any reports of buses just not coming at all?
Sure, if buses run behind, sometimes that gets interpreted as a bus didn't show up, or if someone arrives late and the bus is already run, so it could be interpreted that way. I would say that all of our school administrators have access to our bus stops, our bus times. So there is typically an assistant principal at each school site that is the direct contact for bus stop information, times, those types of things at each and every school site. In addition to that, we have a bus call center that can be called. It was probably pretty busy this morning, would be my guess, but that can be accessed, as well as, again, numerous resources about express stops and times and how to change stops are all accessible on our website.
Big active survival training on Friday. In fact, I think you guys invited us to come, and I was not able to make it. I got an email from a teacher from within that saying, oh my God, it's a mess. They invited thousands of people, and there are like 200 parking places. Was there a problem with the facility being adequate? This person said there were cars being towed, that it started late and people were leaving in the middle of it because their cars were being towed. Did anything like this happen? And if so, were there any lessons learned from that?
Sure, I'd like to explain that. Yes, so over the last week and a half, we've offered 16 active survival trainings at various schools across the Mecklenburg geography. We don't have the final tally, but we think that we have trained somewhere in the neighborhood of 9,000 to 10,000 of our employees over those 16 sessions. Prior to that, well, I'll just say since July of 2021, that would put us at around somewhere around 16 to 17,000 CMS employees have been trained in the active survival training. The session that you're speaking of was, so the process, the way that it works in Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools is that you are supposed to register for training, and then when that training is indicated that it's full, you're not supposed to attend that because that means that the capacity is full. So I believe that is what happened, but have no fear. Those that didn't get to attend, we will be offering sessions all throughout the school year that if somebody is worried that they did not get to attend that required training, then we will offer multiple sessions throughout the school year.
Hi, good morning. I'm Hazel Petrelli. I'm from Progreso Hispana News. Maybe I need a, Silvia, can you help me for translator? Yes, please. Oh,
She's getting it.
You can't speak Spanish. Dime, sí, otra vez.
Miss García, me gustaría saber, conocer cómo ha sido la aceptación de la comunidad hispana una vez que se aperturó PACE.
De verdad que ha sido algo bien emocionante porque la comunidad hispana se ha sentido como que está involucrada y que el distrito ha tenido la capacidad de invertir millones de dólares en nuestros niños que están llegando. Entonces ya no se siente como la comunidad que está olvidada, sino que el distrito ha tomado acción en implementar un programa totalmente nuevo simplemente para acomodar a las personas que vienen de todos los países, especialmente, claro que los hispanos. Entonces hay padres que han llegado a la registración llorando, que estoy tan agradecida de que hayan podido hacer esto por nosotros, como es que hay una escuela especialmente nomás para mi niña, donde se va a sentir acomodada, donde se va a sentir que la van a entender. Claro que hablándoles en inglés, porque les estamos enseñando eso en inglés, no en español, pero sentir que tiene como la comunidad a su favor.
Hazel Petrelli from Progreso Hispano, she asked, has the Hispanic community accept or adopted the PACE Academy? If you could answer in
English or
please.
Spanish?
In English now.
Yes.
We're translating.
So I was actually just saying that the Hispanic community or the Latinos or Latina community has felt very touched by this program, especially feeling that the district has been able to a lot of millions of dollars to be able to support the newcomers that come from other countries already. Coming to this country is already difficult, right? So you leave your countries for reasons that are a little heartbreaking. So coming here and feeling that the community and the district has put all of these resources in place and specialized to just focus on their children has been very touching for the parents. We have all of our staff. The majority of our staff has a why, right? So when we were hiring, it was like, why do you want to work at PACE? And the majority of it is, you know, I came here at the age of 14, I came here at the age of 9, and I felt lost when I came here. Now coming here, I could understand how the newcomers feel, and I want to be able to be part of that. So they have been very, very appreciative that the school district has taken the time and the funding to be able to put this program into place.
Hi, it's Emi from Telemundo. Tú mencionaste algo muy importante que es que tu staff aquí tiene una razón importante para venir a trabajar aquí. Si pudieras darme eso en español, por favor.
Sí, lo que pasa es que es muy importante que la gente se sienta conectada con lo que está haciendo, que simplemente eso no se ha vuelto un trabajo, ¿cierto? Una manera de poder entrar al distrito. Entonces, para mí como principal o directora de este programa nuevo, era importante que cada persona tenga una conexión vital con los estudiantes. Cuando yo llegué, que puedan contarles su historia. Cuando yo llegué, yo tenía lo mismo. Cuando yo llegué, yo sentía lo mismo. Entonces, debido a esos déficits que ellos experimentaron en otros lugares, nosotros hemos podido llenarlos para que los niños no se sientan como desamparados, que es la cultura que se ha usado mucho tiempo. Pero bajo de la superintendente Dr. Hill, ella le ha puesto mucho empeño a este programa. Es más, ella ha estado acá mucho tratando de solucionar y de darse cuenta de que va a ser un éxito. Entonces sí le damos las gracias a ella.
So her question was, what does it feel to have employees like the students, like Hispanics, to look themselves through them?
So what I was telling her is that when I was hiring, it was very important for me as a principal to get the why of the people. Why do you want to work for PACE? Because it is a very different program. You have to be aware that you have students coming from all over the world, especially, of course, the majority are Hispanics, and they're going through a lot of social emotional issues as well. So the person needs to be connected to the child to be able to fulfill the gaps in social emotional and academic gains too. Just to make it clear, all the people we have hired do teach the students in English, but are able to understand what they're experiencing and are able to fill all those gaps. Said the same thing in Spanish.
So has everything, Dr. Hill, been working when it comes to, I know you all had a plan, you said you're going to consolidate classes, your area learning superintendents will also be helping and principals, so is it working? Have you heard about any problems with it?
Haven't heard any problems, but every evening this week we have a back-to-school debrief, and so that's when we as a group will hear the rundown in terms of vacancies, buses, school nutrition, any hot spots. So don't have a lot of information right now. Like I mentioned, reached out to those schools that did have, or LCs of those schools that did have some high vacancies. They assured me we're all good, but we'll have a full report out this afternoon.
And we've asked all our questions, but is there anything that you would like to hear over the radio waves or on TV about the first day of school that we may not have asked so far?
I've said this 15 million times, but we're just so excited just to see the smiles on the faces of the students, the staff. Everybody is just so excited. Had a great opportunity to talk to students and talk to them about some changes that we made. Cell phones was one of them. And so it's just really interesting to hear their perspective, saying thank you. We needed to do it, which is kind of shocking, right? You wouldn't expect students to say that. They said some kids didn't like it at first, but they understand why it needs to happen. So that was really exciting to hear. There is one thing that I do want to clear up from our press conference last week. I was notified that there was publication that I said something along the lines of Senate Bill 49 would make it difficult to hire teachers. I don't believe I ever said that, so I apologize if that came across. Senate Bill 49 has absolutely nothing to do with hiring teachers. What I did say is that I was very proud of our Board of Education for ensuring that licensure and teacher pay was always at the top of our legislative agenda. And so just wanted to correct that the two have nothing to do with each other.
And you kind of touched on the cell phones. I think sometimes it's the little rule changes that get people buzzing and maybe make a difference. So I've heard about the cell phones. I heard there was maybe a new dress code for educators or employees. Talk about any changes like that, what kind of reception they're getting and why you're doing it, what the ultimate end goal is.
Thank
and
you
are
for-
there any others I haven't heard of
Thank you
yet?
for asking that. I was at the Tuesday morning forum, and we got a media request. Somebody said, are teachers wearing uniforms? And I was like, what? I never said that. No, what I did say is that I expect for our educators to be dressed professionally. So certainly not a dress code or uniforms, but certainly expect all of our educators to be dressed professionally and expect our students to be dressed well as well. just the way that you show up and presenting yourself is really important.
Dr. Hill, I know you've been on the first day of school many times as a mom. A year ago, you probably would never have imagined you being in this role. So just talk about your personal experience and what this means to you, first day in your role, not being an interim, first day of class and all that personally.
Yeah, thank you for that. A colleague sent me a text message yesterday and just said, this is a really big deal. You're leading the 17th largest district in the country. And so there's a lot going on, but take a moment to take it in. And I'm glad that he sent that because, you know, you get so caught up in the work and all of that. But I am just honored, incredibly blessed, and so grateful to the Board of Education for selecting me, and so just touched by the amount of support that I've had from the staff, from the community. It's just an amazing honor, and it's definitely an act of service. I always say it's not about me, so I really don't think about what it means for me personally, because it's all about making our district better. So again, just honored to be here.
Just a really quick question about how things are going with Launchpad. I've heard from a number of parents, even some students, and I know that Ms. Simon Hosey spoke to this last week, but how is that going, especially with now being the first day? I mean, they need to be using Launchpad.
Mm-hmm. So we communicated that out early to families about Launchpad because we knew it would be a change. It's going as well as any technology implementation would go. The great thing about today is now students are here, they have their devices with them, and so staff are here to support them in making sure that they get their password taken care of. Extremely important because we always talk about security, but cybersecurity is real and it's alive. We went through a lot of changes with staff last year in terms of changing their password. We all know that we have to MFA, have to have a second device, and so now moving towards this is extremely important for our students. But the other thing that it is it makes it a one-stop shop. And so we all know how we have to keep up with a million different passwords. It just makes it really smooth for the students. So of course, bumpy implementation, we always expect that, but by the end of the week, they'll be good to go.